Everyone, this is Mario, and I will be showing you part 3 of how to mech. In this specific video, we did make some tiny tweaks that shouldn't affect your gameplay very much at all. The only difference is that we got the factory before the command center. Now I wanted to find you a really good example, or in general practice something specific that would, or do the exact strategy. As the guide, so you guys could see it. The only problem is that every time I did the strategy, it turned out to be a really good macro game. So I don't have any of the cheeses. Now, when I did it, this game is played like 45 minutes ago. When I played this game on my barcode account, which I changed to HCO Luigi, I actually got cheesed. So it shouldn't be changed very much at all. On the actual strategy, except for those two things. So we're still going to show you it as part 3, and what you could do if it ever happens to you. Remember that the only difference will be is that your factory will be slightly faster, and your command center will be slightly more delayed. So, alright, which means you will have a little faster units, but you'll have less resources. So in this specific game, we're doing the exact same thing, but we're actually walling off. This game I was just playing because I wanted to win a game real fast. This is against Clarity Gaming Siphon. I love Clarity Gaming players. They're really talented people. All of them ones that I've met are really nice, so I really like playing them. Siphon is a top 50 Grandmaster on North American Ladder. You can see 14 supply. Here comes the refinery. No problem. Everything is the same except for the factory comes a little bit faster. Let's speed it up just a little bit for the build order, and then I can show you how we scout cheese, or how we believe it's cheese, and then how we respond. So, we want to make sure that before this first marine is out, we always have an SCV scouting. We actually would prefer to send one out before the refinery. In this scenario, to check for proxies. Make sure everything is in its base. However, if you build the barracks at the front, that's not that big of an issue, because if he comes out with zealots, they'll be blocked off. But if you like put a bunker down right here, that's okay too, because the zealot won't be up your ramp until the bunker is just about to finish. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about the barracks positioning. This is my Grandmaster opening. This is more greedy in most cases, or I'm able to punish more and use my advanced macro compared to lower leagues to be able to fight other players. So, the build that you guys are learning is a mix between my heavy punish build and my heavy greedy build. So it's, this one's more of a punish build, because it makes everything come a little bit faster. So what makes us think it's cheese? Well, number one, there's only one pylon in his base that we can see, and there's both gas. We know that there's a mothership core coming, and we actually saw that, the gateway was making a unit, which finished. If we go back 30 seconds, we can see, as we come up, we can see, oh look, there goes the zealot. And here's a mothership core. Since there's only one pylon, that represents a bit of a problem. Normally when you scout the Protoss, he will be on 2 pylons, and he'll be almost able to place his third. As you can tell, there are 26 out of 34 supply. If he gets one more worker, he'll be at 27, and if he gets a stalker, which I believe is 2 supply, it is, he will be at 29 supply, almost needing a pylon. So, in just a few seconds, the third pylon should be up. But in this scenario, we only see one. We actually don't see this one. Which does tip me off a little bit, that I do not, or actually, he's got an extra pylon on the map. I wasn't aware of that. But we should see at least 2 pylons, and the third one, just barely starting. In this case, we only see one. So we're like, okay, it might be cheese. So, we kind of take a look around, and we just back off its base. We want to keep the SCV. Our next check, and here's the factory. Normally, before this would be the command center and then the factory. So, I just want to clarify. Our next check is, when is his expansion? So we kind of go over here. Here comes the command center. We see the zealot at the top, and there's like, okay, 1 zealot, that's not too big of a problem. And we kind of wait around. Now, once we have our expansion, we can place an engineering bay at their expansion. And the reason why this is okay is because this allows us to see when he gets his expansion. Also, If there's not a zealot following your SCV, it takes a lot longer to kill the engineering bay. You don't want it to completely finish. In this case, I accidentally do let it, but you don't want it to normally completely finish. So, if a zealot's over here, we're free to make the engineering bay, which I will do in just a second. Making sure we get all our depots. We're getting our Marines in position for the mothership core to come by. And we start our starport right away. So here's the mothership core. Usually a lot of players like to poke with it, so we keep 4 Marines back. 3's only needed to handle it, but we don't want to lose many units. And this is the first sign. Number 1, we've started this engineering bay. There's still no sign of an expansion. An expansion can come as early as 4 minutes and 6 seconds. If the expansion is not placed before 5 minutes, they are messing up a lot, or they're going to cheese you. In my league, there's no way they're messing up that much. Something is off. So what we do is we come back up and we send an SCV back to repair, and we make 1 widow mine. We don't know what cheese, if it is, this could be. He might even just be hiding an expansion here or here. We're not quite sure what's going on. So we know something fishy is going on. So what we're doing is, we're getting the widow mine just like the build says. Here comes our second guess. It's a little bit delayed because of this engineering bay, and we do accidentally let it finish. Now we do see 2 extra gateways. This is okay because normally you see 2 extra gateways or a robotics facility or a forge. 2 extra gateways, which means that there might be some slight pressure. Normally they drop these after they have the expansion, so pressure can be expected. And normally it's a robotics facility. What we know from this is that he does not have a robotics bay in his base so far as we can see, and that makes him viable to a marine drop, or a widow mine drop. Now back at the base, we saw nothing. We know he still hasn't taken expansion in 6 minutes. So our first goal is like, okay, what can he throw at us, and what do we need to do? We immediately get the tech lab on the factory after the widow mine finishes, and we scan. We saw most of this side, so we scanned the right side and the bottom, and we see nothing. We see a sentry in this base, but there's nothing else that defines tech, no more extra pylons, and we still see, he's mining from both gas. Something is definitely up. At this stage of the game, we have no idea whatever this could be. Fortunately, we let this engineering bay finish on accident, so what we do is we drop 2 missile turrets. This isn't actually the worst thing to let finish. The 150 minerals is not exactly necessary to hold off everything. In fact, your biggest restrictor will be usually the gas. So we drop the missile turrets. Why in these locations? Well, in case it's Dark Templar, this is a little bit back though. I should have kind of placed it right here. So this missile turret is bad for me. This one is in a great position. So in case it's Dark Templar or it's Oracle, we want missile turrets in position. We begin the siege tank. We get the medevac going. So we favor the medevac and the siege tank and the bunkers over the Marines if possible. We pick up this 1 widow mine and we send it over to his base. And we do see that the mothership core is still there. It's not at his base. The bunker starts. Why do we place the bunker here? We don't want the bunker too close to the outer edge, because if it's blink, he can just blink up, snipe it, and go. We want the bunker close to the production facilities, and we want to be able to put our tank behind the bunker. But we also want our tanks to be close to the command centers. So this is a great spot for the siege tank. If we keep our Marines here, anything that blinks up will automatically blink on top of our Marines and a bunker. Now the bunker is close to the edge here, but we also need it to hit the ramp. We could space this back a slot, which would be okay. But this is actually an okay position. And now this missile turret will also hinder some movement. So that's okay as well. We're preparing as if it's going to be Blink Stalker, or Oracle, or Dark Templar. We also, during this time, make sure to keep bumping out SCVs. You do not want to fall behind, because if you need to use a lot of SCVs to repair, even if you become oversaturated, and you will see me become oversaturated, keep making SCVs as long as you're confident you will be eventually able to break out. Here comes the siege tank. We're a little bit supply blocked. Here comes the Widow Mine drop. And we notice, wait a second, you have a detector. Why do you have a detector? That seems strange. You have a detector and no expansion. Maybe you do have an expansion. So we take this metafact that we've now used to successfully drop off the metafact and continue its usefulness by looking for hidden bases or tech. This allows us to kind of maybe get an early idea of what is actually coming. So here we go. He's just scouting each and every base. You can see their rally points. Back at home, we keep up the supply depot, we keep making marine tank, and we get a second tech lab. This is for a Raven. In case we do need to move out and expand, we do need to know what's going on, and we start an armory. The armory is automatically the next step before the second factory before we go into mech. And we do feel like we have enough gas to keep this going. We did a bit of a nasty supply block, but we're out of it now, so it's okay. We've checked out a lot of bases, and we haven't seen a hidden expo yet. We've actually flown over this one, which is a bit of a mistake. More supply depots. And here we can see, okay, it's an immortal. By the way, this line means that it's a hallucination. It is, in fact, a hallucination. So it's an immortal bust. Because we had no idea what's going on, we prepared for everything. 2 missile turrets, siege tank, far back, but enough to hit the bottom of the ramp. Marines, kind of close by. We had 2 SCVs and auto repair, just in case. And we have more tanks and stuff on the way. He actually ended up proxying it in this location. Now, if it was Blink Stalker, it would have hit a bit sooner, and we would have retreated to medevac to come here. We also pulled off, the moment he's at your ramp, you want to pull workers. If he's trying to one base bust you, and you have a command center in your base, don't be afraid to pull a third or half of your workers. Why? Well, if you hold it, you can still make more. They haven't expanded, you're not exactly behind. As long as you can take this expansion, you'll eventually be on equal or greater terms. As you can see, I'm still making SCVs. There's another siege tank. We don't want it in a bad position. We place it directly behind this one, far away from the edge so an immortal cannot shoot at it, and we place a second bunker. We're not saving any minerals. We want to make sure that we can be safe. We do send a few of these back, but I believe I actually changed my mind. Yeah, so they're going to repair. Now we're aware that he's trying to expo. We feel like this bust is probably coming close to its end. And we know he now can't get up the ramp with 2 bunkers and 3 siege tanks. We place this one here, because once again, it covers the ramp. You can see that they all cover the bottom of the ramp, and that's it. They're as far away from the edge as they kind of can be while covering the ramp. Here we scout the immortal or the robotics facility. We see that he's not making any more. He receives some immortals, 3 immortals, 2 sentries, 2 stalkers. So we go, okay, well, let's throw in a banshee. You don't have a lot of anti-air. A banshee is useful. We don't want our starport to go to waste. And let's take some of these extra marines and do some drop pressure. This isn't something you have to do. Usually they don't have anything in their base though, so we're going to go ahead and go back. Again, you can see I'm oversaturated. Now, why am I taking this command center? Well, if you know you're safe, and I know I'm safe, and if you know you can push down the ramp, I'm 100% positive I can break this ramp and take my expo. And, he's about to take his expansion. He took the time to kill this engineering bay. He's most likely going to take a nexus. So let's go ahead and use our extra minerals to drop another command center. Why? Well, because we don't want to be on equal footing. We're already ahead. We're going to have a lot of workers, so why not get a second command center and get our third faster once we do break out. So we're only going to show you until this cheese is over, and then we can kind of skip through some of the parts and show you what happens because we played like this. So again, still SCVs. You can see it's 47 to 31 because we continue to make SCVs. And he did. Kind of dropping on top of these stalkers so we can't micro as well. Pick up a little bit. I believe so, actually. But no, I guess not. Okay, so I wanted to drop back on top of him. That was a mistake. I lost it, but that's okay. We're now up to 5 siege tanks. and we're gonna push down this ramp, sacrifice the bunkers. He's just trying to force field us in, and we go. We have a Banshee, we have a point defense drone, we drop it down, and we take out the sentries. Now the sentries, once the sentries are gone, he can't keep force fielding. He just refreshed the force field, but that's okay. We siege up at the ramp because he's actually fighting us here, which is a surprise. We end up taking out an immortal, 2 immortals. Let's speed this up a little bit. Kind of chasing him down. Not that important for you. Take out the 3rd immortal. Try to get the stalker. And back off. Try to save it. You don't want to lose your units if you can help it. Now I kind of go into the transition. This is as far as this build is going to go. I will show you guys the rest of the build order in the next video. This one is focused on the cheese. You prepared for everything, and we were able to hold off whatever he threw at us. Remember, if it's Blink Soccer, we're far away from the wall, and we just drop a second bunker close to the siege tank so that they, if they blink up, they're blinking right on top of the bunkers, and the bunkers are kind of closer to the edges. Don't be afraid to pull SCVs if he blinks on top of your ramp. We have missile turrets, we got a Raven, we're safe against Dark Templar, we're pretty safe against Oracle. We just send the Marines wherever the Oracle goes. Make sure to take at least 6, 8 preferred if you can. If you do scout any Stargate, get 1 Viking one Viking from the starport, and it will help a big time. If you're sure it's a cheese, Viking or up to 3 will do you wonders with siege tank Marine. And yeah. So now we're going to show you. Don't be worried about the build. We're going to show you. We've broken out. Why do we want to play like this? Why did we keep making SCVs? We were 100% we could break it. We knew what our build could do. We know what it can't do. So once you're confident in your build, you think a lot less about these things. You're not as concerned about, oh, what if this, what if this? You already know what can kill you and what can't. And as long as you execute the build properly and you react properly, it won't kill you. If this engineering bay didn't finish, I probably would have gotten a Raven and then a Viking, and I would have made sure that my Marines were ready to run down here to stop any Oracle. Not that big of a concern. If I saw an Oracle and no expansion, I would immediately drop another engineering bay to get these missile turrets. So don't be concerned that you didn't let this finish. That's not that big of an issue. Now that we've broken out, let's speed this up a little bit, and you can see we immediately transfer our workers, and we have instant saturation. You want 16 workers mining and 2 in each gas. We go with 15 right now. That's okay. And remember this extra command center we built? Well, we landed it, and look at this. We have 16 workers mining and 2 gas. We're getting more workers. We'll get another engineering bay. We're getting a sensor tower. We are so far ahead because we kept making SCVs that we not only got a 3rd expansion right away, so our income is much higher. It's already saturated, and since it's so saturated, we need another place to send our SCVs. And we're confident that he can't kill us because we just took out his army. You see this army? There's no way it's going to kill this. So we just take this expansion and rally over. And rally over. So, we've gone ahead and established another base. From here on, we're going to be pretty far ahead, as you can see. We're making a supply depot wall, getting our infrastructure up. We'll go over all those details later. And getting our gases, taking another expansion, spreading out some Marines. Just going to show you the effect of what happened, as you can tell, because we were so far ahead. We're now 50 supply ahead. We're getting a lot of upgrades. We're getting a lot of structures. We're getting pretty much everything we need, and we're relaxing. We're not worried. We know whatever. If he's going to max out, that's okay. We know he's not going to be able to kill us. We're getting our missile turrets. A little over-committing on some turrets, just in case. We have plenty of minerals. Getting a planetary fortress here. More command centers. More command centers. Do you remember how we went over how to push? Let's show you guys how I push in this game. Alright. So, as you can see, scan, see where his army is. Get in a position. Siege up because we're not quite sure, and here he was. we go ahead and pretty much win the game. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in for the next one.